Some books don't entertain you. They don't inspire you. They don't even comfort you. They do something far more disturbing. They change the lens you use to look at people, society, money, power, and even yourself. And once that lens changes, you can't unsee what you've seen. That's why certain books have always been feared, banned, mocked, worshipped, or quietly passed from hand to hand like contraband. Not because they are bad books, but because they make you dangerous in a different way. They make you harder to control. This video is not about the most popular books on TikTok. This is not about feel-good self-help. This is about books that leave a scar on your mind. Books that make you realize the world is not built the way you were taught. And if you're the type of person who can handle that kind of truth, then these 7 books will change you permanently. The first book is 1984 by George Orwell. And the reason this book is dangerous is simple. It doesn't just warn you about dictatorship, it teaches you the psychology of control. Orwell doesn't describe oppression as something loud and dramatic. He describes it as something systematic, boring, and everyday. A world where language is engineered to shrink thought, where history is edited like a document, where people are trained to doubt their own memory. The terrifying part is that when you read 1984, you don't just imagine some faraway dystopia. You start noticing how easily people accept contradiction when fear is involved. You start noticing how often the crowd chooses comfort over truth. And once you notice that, you can't go back to being innocent. The second book is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Most people think it's just a story about burning books, but that's not the deepest message. The deepest message is that censorship doesn't always arrive as a government order. Sometimes it arrives as entertainment. Bradbury shows a world where people don't even want books anymore. They want speed. They want noise. They want screens. They want comfort. They want shallow happiness. And the dangerous part is realizing that a society can destroy itself without chains, without prisons, without violence, simply by training people to hate depth. This book makes you look at your phone differently. It makes you look at your attention differently. It makes you realize that the modern battlefield is not land, it's the mind. The third book is The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Now this is one of those books that people pretend not to like in public, but they secretly read at night. Because it does something most books avoid. It names the rules of power without apologizing. It doesn't ask you to be good. It asks you to be aware. And awareness is dangerous. Once you understand how manipulation works, you start seeing it everywhere. In friendships, in politics, in business, even in family dynamics. You begin to realize that many people don't argue to find truth. They argue to win. Many people don't help to be kind. They help to create debt. And the most dangerous part of Greene's book is that it makes you realize power is not rare. It's everywhere. And if you don't understand it, you will be controlled by it. Now, the fourth book is not a Western classic. It's a modern book written from Southeast Asian psychology and social reality. And it belongs here because it teaches something most people never want to admit. That human beings wear masks, and those masks are often more real than their faces. The book is The 77 Masks of Human Power by Phon Piseth. This is dangerous not because it teaches you to become evil, but because it teaches you to stop being naive. It breaks the illusion that everyone is honest, everyone is pure, everyone is just trying their best. It shows you how power disguises itself as kindness, how manipulation disguises itself as love, and how weak people sometimes become the most destructive because they weaponize pity. If you grew up in a society where people smile while hiding knives behind tradition, status, and saving face, then this book hits harder than most Western psychology books. It doesn't just explain human behavior, it gives you the language to survive it. The fifth book is The Prince by Niccolò Machiavelli. And yes, people misunderstand this book all the time. They think it's telling you to be cruel. But the real danger is that Machiavelli forces you to separate morality from strategy. He forces you to accept that the world does not reward virtue automatically. The world rewards competence. It rewards timing. It rewards perception. It rewards alliances. It rewards fear more than love in certain environments. And when you read The Prince, you begin to understand why good people lose. You begin to understand why kind leaders get eaten alive. You begin to understand why some nations rise while others stay trapped. It is not because one side is more moral. It is because one side understands human nature better. The sixth book is The Gulag Archipelago by Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn. This is not an easy book. It is heavy. It is painful. But it is dangerous because it shows you how quickly human beings become monsters when systems reward cruelty. It shows you how ordinary people, not demons, not villains, but ordinary people can become part of an evil machine. And what changes your worldview is realizing that it wasn't just the bad guys. It was neighbors, friends, clerks, guards, co-workers, people who were scared, people who wanted safety, people who wanted promotion. This book destroys the comforting fantasy that evil is rare. It shows you evil is often bureaucratic, organized, normal. And the seventh book is Thus Spoke Zarathustra by Friedrich Nietzsche. This book is dangerous in a different way. It doesn't teach you politics. It doesn't teach you power games. It teaches you to question the foundations of your beliefs. Nietzsche attacks the idea that people should live by inherited morality. He attacks the idea that the crowd is wise. He attacks the idea that comfort equals meaning. And when you read him, you start realizing something terrifying. Many people don't live. They obey. Many people don't think. They repeat. Many people don't choose values. They inherit them. Nietzsche doesn't give you a clean answer. He gives you a mirror. And once you see your own mind clearly, you cannot pretend anymore. Now here is the truth. These books are not dangerous because they contain bad information. They are dangerous because they create independence. They make you less controllable. They make you harder to lie to. They make you harder to manipulate. They make you harder to distract. And the world does not always reward that. In fact, in many environments, the world punishes it. That is why these books feel illegal. Because they build a kind of inner freedom that systems cannot easily tolerate. But if you are watching Trillion books, you are not here to be normal. You are here to upgrade. You are here to grow. You are here to build a mind that cannot be bought, bullied, or broken. So here's your challenge. Don't try to read all 7. Pick one, just one, and read it slowly. Read it like a person who wants to wake up. Because the moment you finish a truly dangerous book, the world looks the same, but you don't. And that is the real power. If you want more lists like this, books that feel forbidden, books that teach dark psychology, books that give unfair advantage, subscribe to Trillion Books. Read small. Grow Trillion.